Me in my black and white. What he approved, the way I made. Or should I reprogram, deprogram, and get down? If I agree, forget, sit round. If I agree, forget, sit down. I'm cutting up, that cut me down. Yeah, I wanna be, even if it makes us uncomfortable. I will love you. Even if it makes us uncomfortable. Let me up. I will love somebody. They didn't break us down. Don't make this ain't so tough. I can't take it no more. Baby, we had to see your groove. They're rolling in my door. Crazy in the black and white. We got the joint so tight. Baby, bring them down. Too strong, we moving on. This is melody. Show you another way. Been trying to fight so long. Come home and sing your song, baby. But you got to testify. Because the booty don't lie. No, 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 the booty don't lie. Oh no, the booty don't lie. Yeah, yeah, let's flip it. I don't think they understand. Yeah. I asked a question like this. Oh, what's up, original people? I got a strong will to survive.
All right, all right. DJ My Ear, bring us back real quick. Come on. Want to shout out to all our listeners real quick, our live streamers. Welcome to the 5th annual Kasudi fundraiser. I am your host, Mr. Frankie Brady. Privilege and the honor to be hosting this year 2. They brought me back, so something's going right. Getting started momentarily, but you are vibing to the sounds of DJ My Ear. Come on. Shout out to everybody in the room so far. Diana, hola. Lisa, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
What's up? What's up?
I'm excited.
Welcome. Donna, how you doing? Welcome. Yes, we got some dope folks in the room.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Pleasure to have you. Most definitely. Kyle, what's going on? Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Hey, pleasure. We're going to be doing some shout outs to folks as we go. So don't go nowhere. We're going to do some shout outs. But again, my name is Frankie E. Brady. This is the 5th annual Kasudi International fundraiser for a lot of the great work this organization does. Again, shout out to our lovely, our beautiful, our talented founder, Nia Mensah. I call it Dr. Mensah. And again, I never let her forget it. Dr. Mensah, again, Black Girls Rock, Black Queens Rule. Dang sure ain't no fool. We have a really amazing program for y'all tonight. And do me a favor, if you are online, if this is on Facebook, make sure you share this broadcast. If you are on IG, screenshot it and put it in your stories, right? And keep this magic and energy going. You know, we are grooving to the sounds of the talented, the dope DJ My Ear, heavy on the ear, right? She's gonna be rocking for us today. So the music is gonna be a vibe, it's gonna be a bop. And you know, we gonna definitely rock out. You know, so hey, DJ Maia, do you have that track I asked about? I don't know if you got that track I asked about. Let me see if you got it. If not, throw on something real quick before I intro our lovely founder. DJ Maia, let's make something happen.
No, I didn't get the message.
Oh, throw on a dope track to bring out our esteemed founder real quick. Let's make something happen.
All righty then, yes.
When we grooving, it's gonna be interactive and everything like that. Again, share the broadcast, share it. Tag a friend, to tag a friend, to tag a friend. How about that? Especially if you're online on Facebook, right? And we're gonna keep it rocking. And momentarily, we're gonna bring out our superstar. And again, you're rocking to the sounds of DJ Maia. Okay. Like the likes up on Facebook if you on Facebook right now. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Hit the hearts. Whoa. It's the first annual Kasudi Brunch Fundraiser. We have amazing speakers today. Shout out to the board of directors that's going to be on the line. Amazing board of directors to help make the decisions possible for this amazing organization. Yes. All right. Without further ado, I like to give it up for the talented, the amazing, the beautiful, the wonderful. Clap it up, like it up online for Dr. Nia Mensah. Let's go.
Yay!
Dr. Mensah, bring us in. All right, and we are ready. Dr. Nia Mensah, we got you. We can't hear you, love. Let's get the sound. All right. Oh yes, and let me just get this one thing before Dr. Mensah speaks. I think it's really important to acknowledge just Black women doing amazing things. And again, she's a Black woman, PhD, you know what I'm saying? And I think that, of course, that's amazing. And then again, we got to support Black women, you know what I mean? And not just the movie stars. I say support the superstars you know, like the movie stars you don't know. Support the superstars you know, like the celebrities you don't know. Put it like that. And I think that's really important. So again, without further ado, Dr. Nia Mensah, everybody.
Well, thank you, Mr. Brady. And thank you, DJ Lovely on the Wheels of Steel, who has been a perpetual supporter of Kasudi International. I come representing the board of directors because I do not stand alone. This organization was founded in June of 2016, and we are celebrating 5 years of establishment, which is very exciting. We started with a mission to provide purpose-driven relief to organizations, to individuals, locally and abroad. We developed a lecture series after our first year of establishment, and we have gone and done outreach trips to Ghana ever since we started our first mission in 2017. So I do want to just talk a little bit about our tiers and what we focus to do, and thank all of those that have really supported us over the past few years. So our main 4 tiers of what we're focusing on is providing pro bono services. That includes the work we've done locally, whether it's free physical therapy, free consultations, medical consultations, and including the health and wellness lectures. That is something that we have been consistent in providing, and that's one of our major tiers. The other one is education, which includes the health and wellness series. This year, we actually partnered with Teachers College, Mount Nebo Baptist Church, St. Luke AME Church in Harlem, and conducted health fairs and a brain health series that was specific to our community in Harlem, and specifically the African American and Hispanic community. And so this was a really big step in our growth, and that kind of was totally under our education tier. And the other areas that we're focusing on is development. So we do hope to, in the next 5 to 10 years, develop a facility that will continue to provide the services that I mentioned, but it will be self-sustaining. Where that location, the location of that facility will be, only God knows, but we do hope to create an institution that will provide a resource for neighboring organizations, individuals that can come in and receive the services they need at little to no cost. So that is one of our major goals, and that's one of our 3rd tiers. And our last tier is research. As Mr. Brady so kindly mentioned, I am in my PhD studies, and there are members on our board who have a doctor of philosophy, medical doctors, and we are looking to create and partner with universities studies that will help investigate best ways and best practices for individuals that have little resources or low economic status. So we're looking to really move into that area in the next 5 years. So once I'm done with my studies and with the help of the board, we have already collaborated and started to talk about research projects that we can partner with to really help support the institution that I mentioned, but also to increase revenue via grants, because with research, there is the capability to provide resources with funds that come in from government organizations. And so those resources will be totally given to those that participate, and also to the establishment of clinics and better service opportunities for those that have less access. So that's a little bit about where we've come from and where we're going. The next 5 years is truly going to be a focus on development and our research arm. And I'm super excited that we have fulfilled the majority of our tiers and started to create the development portion. And so I just want to, again, thank you. Next year, and I'll talk about this at the end, we are going to Ghana again, 2022, February. And I want to start really getting the word out, because this will be our largest medical outreach endeavor. We are planning to host interns from Togo who are very interested in rehabilitation and medical professions. We are planning to partner with the Ghanaian government to work with some clinics outside of Accra and in some remote clinics outside of Cape Coast. And so this is going to be one of our largest projects, and we're looking to have a vast team. So we want to have the medical professionals, and we have a lot of them on our board, but we also want individuals of every background, because we're going to continue to go to Mephibosheth Training Center, which is my heart. That is the school that we started to visit. And it's a beautiful school for children with special needs. Over 80 children attend that school. It's a boarding school, and we will definitely go there and stay there for a majority of our trip. And so we need educators, we need nurses, we need lawyers, we need everyone that has an interest and a desire to help and fulfill a role, or just provide purpose-driven relief. So again, thank you for your time. And I'm super excited about our guest speaker. When Rachel Watson talks, she's going to share about her experiences in international outreach, and I'm looking forward to gain some pearls of wisdom from her. So again, thank you for this time and opportunity. Thank you to all the board members who I stand on the shoulders of, and especially my family. I do want to give a shout out to my grandmother who passed away this year. I do believe she's looking down and smiling on us right now. She has been my motivation, her and my mother and all of my family. And so I just wanted to say that I want to dedicate today to her memory. And I throw it back to our DJ Lovely and our wonderful MC, Frankie Brady. Thank you.
DJ Maia, let's make something happen. And again, give it up for an amazing founder, Dr. Heavy on the Doctor, Nia Mensah, and the amazing board of directors as well. You know, DJ Maia, throw us on something. You got your wine, sip your wine. This is brunch per se and everything like that. You know, so throw your wine out, throw your wine glasses. It's a celebration, also a toast to life. Again, we are grooving to the sounds of DJ Maia, Heavy on the ear, and we're gonna be rocking and vibing. And again, we have a really wonderful program set before you. Shout out to Custodian International for doing the amazing work, the life-changing, life-saving work. I think that is just noble work. And there's a phrase I'll say, and then the next thing you hear is gonna be some tunes before we introduce an amazing speaker on the horizon. But there's a phrase that I always like to say, and I always like to say, service is the price you pay for living. You know what I'm saying? So when you serve, that's the price you pay to be able to live. And you giving back, you know what I mean? It's like your fare. So shout out to you, Dr. Mensah, for paying your fare accordingly. All right, DJ Maia, what we got? Let's get it.
While I am making it dance, can I play with your drum? I have the greatest of hands. Optimism I can't. I can say you the one, but can I say it's a chance? It's love, it's sentimental. Because it's never simple. Yeah. Results are it's quite serious, so don't take too long, won't chase too little. She's so full of love, full of life, full of pride. I sometimes wonder what's enough. Is enough just a yellow light? Gotta slow down. I care for you more than my own self. Darling, I share with you all goodness and well. Say, we can have just one night, or we can have one whole life if we play it cool. Yeah, we can have that one thing, or we can have everything if our hearts are true. Girl, slow down. Girl, let me love you. Darling, slow down. Let me get to know you. Baby, I've been fantasizing, just looking in your eyes. You know I'm looking for more, and you're what I've been praying for. This kind of love don't come around like this. I'm not one to play around like this. It's so real, and I love how we feel. Love it when we slowly sway. I love it when we think the same thing. I love the way we move, the way we move. We can have every night, yeah. We can have every day. Ooh, I want you to. I need you. Slow down, slow down. Let me love you. Let me love you. Slow down, slow down, slow down. Let me get to So cool. Oh, we can have that one. We can have that one. We can have everything. We can have everything.
Hey, all right. Let's bring it back. DJ My Ear, let's bring it back real quick for our intro for our first amazing speaker. All right, all right, all right. Again, as you heard me say before, Black girls rock and Black queens rule. I ain't no fool. That's one of the taglines. But we gotta acknowledge amazing Black women doing just amazing things. I think that, you know, from what I realized, I think it's the standard to be amazing as a Black woman, right? And this next speaker is really gonna personify that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Rachel Watson. She's a social impact, equity, and inclusion consultant. In 2011, she co-founded and served as the CEO of Every Children Federation, a social enterprise working on sustainable solutions to severe malnutrition through local manufacturing of food-based treatments in Africa. Additionally, she serves as a member of the board of directors of the Global Good Fund. She has also held the positions of senior vice president at Burson, Cohen, and Wolf, where she advised companies from startups to global brands, on social impact initiatives, and the position of community affairs executive at the Inova Health System, where she spearheaded health and wellness initiatives with local partners. Rachel has taught GED classes at a medium security prison in social entrepreneurship at the Shenandoah University. She has lived and worked in 10 countries in Africa and Latin America. And side note, that means the passport got passport and the pages in the passport got pages. Her pages in the passport are pretty booked if she got like that. Rachel is a presidential leadership scholar and holds a BA, a bachelor's in Latin American studies and sociology from Vanderbilt University, and a master's degree in international development from George Washington University, and a master's degree, in international child welfare from the University of East Anglia in UK. You can find her more on her LinkedIn, Rachel Watson at LinkedIn. But without further ado, please welcome Rachel Watson.
So first of all, thank you, but I should have made a note not to read that whole thing. So it's such a pleasure to be here with y'all. And so we have a pretty small group today. And so I'm not thinking of this as a speech per se. I'm hoping it's more of a conversation. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm on Zoom like all week long. And so the more interactive these, and again, I feel like it's a conversation I think it just makes it better. So I'm gonna ask that as much as possible, if you can be on video, and actually, let's just start like this. Anyone who's willing, and I understand it's Saturday morning and maybe, you're not looking your best because it's Saturday morning, but could everyone come on video just for a minute, just so we can say hi in person? I know everyone has beautiful headshots, and I'm one that I generally like to hide behind mine because I rarely look as good as I do in my photo. But if you're willing to come on and just say hi so we can see everyone that's here. I know I miss in-person events, and the more we can just say hello and appreciate being together in this moment. Thank you all for coming on and saying hi. Doesn't matter what your hair looks like. I was looking at I'm like, why is my face so greasy, right? It doesn't matter. We're all just hanging out this morning. So thank you for coming on camera. And I'm just gonna ask, put stuff in the chat. I'm gonna put stuff in the chat, comments, questions, chat to each other. Again, if we were in person, you'd nudge the person next to you and be like, what is she talking about? Like, feel free to do that as we're here in Zoom together today. So as much as we can be interactive and have a good time this morning, I invite you to do that. And I'm not offended if you're putting stuff in chat that has nothing to do about what we're talking about. Go for it. Like, it's Saturday morning. Let's try to really have fun in this moment together. And I want to honor Nia, Dr. Mensah, and all the work that you've done. I don't know if y'all know this, but for a nonprofit to last 5 years is a big deal. Most do not last 5 years. So congratulations to you for making it to this point and all the work that you're doing. I will also say that as someone who founded an international nonprofit while working a full-time job and doing a million other things, I personally understand how difficult that is and the weight you carry. And so again, kudos to all the work that you're doing. I also want to honor the board and everyone that's here supporting, because I also know that as brilliant as Dr. Mensah is, this kind of work does not happen because of one individual. It happens because of the collective. And so everyone here is a part of that collective, and I'm going to talk more about it because I think it's really important. But so I just want to honor you all as well for showing up this Saturday morning and showing up in all the ways that you show up to get us to 5 years. So additionally, I want to acknowledge the traditional stewards of the land where I sit currently. I am in Vienna, Virginia, outside of DC, and the Manahoic people were the traditional stewards of this land. And if y'all aren't familiar, I told you I'm going to put stuff in chat, right? Okay. So if you're not familiar with this website, it's really cool. I personally love playing around with it, but you can go and you can put in your zip code and you can find out who are the traditional stewards of the land where you happen to be. So again, I encourage y'all to do that. Check it out, put it in the chat as we go. Again, doesn't really have anything to do with what we're talking about, but we're here in community and together and recognizing, it takes so many different things coming together for us to come together. And we want to acknowledge all of that as we move forward. And we'll eventually get to talking aid. But one more thing that I would love for us to do as y'all are thinking about the traditional stewards of the land that you sit on and being in community, I always like to start just grounding in gratitude. And especially when there are so many, what I like to call craptastic things happening in the world, that usually gets all of our focus. And so just grounding in gratitude. Again, I'm going to ask y'all to be interactive. I would love for you to put 3 things in the chat that you're grateful for. And I know we might have some doctors and doctors of various sorts on the call. I read some research a while ago. I don't know how solid it is, but I read some research a while ago that said if you think of 3 things you're grateful for, it changes your brain chemistry and actually makes your brain happier. So I am not for toxic positivity, but I am for hacks that can make my brain happier. So I would invite you, think of 3 things. I'm going to say number 1, being with y'all today. I'm really grateful for. It's been a long week and I'm really grateful for my coffee today. I'm just going to be real. Sometimes it's the little things that perk me up. And I'm also grateful for family. I am hanging out with my 9-year-old nephew after this. And I have 12 nieces and nephews. And so I try to make time to spend time with each of them. So I'm going to hang out with the 9-year-old after this call, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you to everyone who's putting in oxygen. Yeah, that's a good one. Putting in comments. The other thing I will say about doing this, again, collectively in community, everyone's like, oh, make your gratitude list. Sometimes it's not gratifying doing it by myself, right? And I get more gratification out of gratitude when it's done in community and I can see what other people are grateful for. And so it just, for me, and maybe it's true for someone else, that just adds to the feeling of community and the feeling of gratitude and the feeling of there's a lot of good in the world, even in the midst of so many challenges, and there are so many. All right, so what I'd like to do today is just take a few minutes to talk about a few trends in international aid, and then talk a little bit about my experience and why the work that we're all doing is so important. And again, feel free to put stuff in the chat, comments, questions. And if y'all see a question in there as I go that I don't, and I have it up over here, if there's a question that I don't happen to see and y'all notice, either like raise your hand or just come on voice and interrupt me. Would love to have this more as a conversation. So a couple trends in the aid space, and I will say that they're long-term trends, but they've been accelerated and intensified lately. And one of those, I don't think we have any children on, but one of them is the concept of poverty porn. And I don't know if y'all are familiar with this concept, but it's basically the idea that the more dire the situation, like the sadder the picture is, that's what you put out to get people's attention and to pull on their heartstrings and motivate them to give. And I will tell you, when I first started in nonprofit work, and it's been a couple decades, right? So a while ago, taking fundraising classes, they would say research shows people give more when they're responding to something sad. And so it's the emotional appeal, but it's like negative emotions, right? It's sadness. It's like, oh, that, the classic, child in Africa with the fly on their face. So there is, even more so now, a huge backlash against that type of fundraising. And so, Nia, I'll tell you, when I was thinking of what to talk about, I was like, well, let me go check our website again to make sure, because I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. And I actually went and checked my own website again too, to see, like, are there any pictures on there that, are just us doing our work, but are positioning, as like just showing, like showcasing and exploiting poverty. And so I was very happy to see, Nia, on the website that it's all positive. It's about the solution, right? And so even though research might say that people respond and give more to sadness and pity, there's a choice point, right? We have to make the decision to focus on the solutions, to focus on the hope, to focus on the good. And so you'll see that more and more. And so one of the things that I was thinking of, sharing with y'all are tips that you can have more of a critical eye as you look at other nonprofits potentially. Like if, y'all are all here because you have generous hearts and you want to give and you want to see positive impact. So just equipping you with, a different perspective as you're looking at other organizations to think about how are they using images in what they put out and how they're soliciting funds. So very happy to say that y'all are in great shape. Another interesting trend that you might be familiar with is, again, it's been in the works for a while, but it's definitely become more intense lately, is the anti-colonialist movement. And so, for a while, there have been questions around international aid that is just perpetuating white supremacy and colonial structures of power. And, all of this aid that's poured into different countries in the world, and why aren't things getting better? And that's something that, with everything that happened last summer with the murder of George Floyd and the racial reckoning in the US, like it's really bubbled up in a very significant way for international aid organizations, and a lot of them are grappling with it. You may have seen in the news recently, even Peace Corps, former Peace Corps volunteers have started, I think it's a campaign, I think it's called Decolonizing Peace Corps. And so big organizations that are known for doing good work around the world are really starting to question and really getting very intentional about looking at the power structures and looking at how aid is done. And again, I think something that this group can be really excited about is one of the things they're looking at are who is leading the work, and are people of color, are people from the diaspora actually leading some of this work for the US? And so to have a Black woman leading an organization is rare but very important. And so there's a trend that's moving more and more in that direction to look at who's leading the organizations and then how is the work done. And again, one of the things that I really appreciate about the way the work is done is that there's work that's done in the local community in the US, but then also work that's happening in Ghana to equip people. Like Nia mentioned, that bringing people from Togo to train that are interested in this space, taking supplies and making sure folks are able to use those. So when the volunteer group goes home, they're still successful and they're still able to work and do those things that they were trained to do. So building the capacity of local folks and then getting out of the way, right? Like that's ultimately what we want to do. And that's in that same trend of thinking of aid and the power structures that undergird it and disrupting and dismantling some of those power structures that are reinforcing a white supremacist past. So those are just a couple of trends that you might be seeing in this space that I think are really interesting. And I think Kasudi is really in line with the right way to do international aid. And so I really appreciate that. And in terms of resources, I'm going to put something in the chat here. Let's see if this works. No, it's not working. So I'll just share it with you. A couple things, if you're interested in like digging into this a little bit more, there's a movie, I think it was from 2014 called Poverty, Inc. And that kind of pulls the curtain back on the aid industry. So if you're interested in learning more about it, I highly recommend that movie. I think it's still on Netflix, but it's Poverty, Inc. And then another book that's really good, a couple years old, is called Winners Take All. And that's a very interesting look at kind of our whole capitalistic system and how those that have benefited from this system are now positioning themselves as the savior for those that have been disadvantaged by the system. So very interesting read to kind of get you thinking about, the whole idea of aid and charity and how it all works. So I would recommend those if you're interested in digging a little bit deeper. So those are some trends. Before I go any further, any questions, thoughts? I see a couple comments in the chat, but anything that's like, as we talk about these trends, that's coming up for y'all? Or they have questions?
Question, Rachel. Wanted to know if an organization was doing something like you mentioned that are not popular, negative pictures, or doing, really do have to address the power structure and are not. What do you recommend to these organizations so that they can remedy the problem right away?
Yeah, I think so. The easy one is the poverty porn, right? I mean, that's just, and early on, I did this with Every Child Fed. So initially our website was what I called like the kind of like dirty Africa look, in that like kind of thinking of like the worst of, and that like kind of poor and not pristine, when, the work that we do, we're in areas that aren't the, most pristine, but it's like, what are we highlighting? And so that was quite a few years back, but we changed everything. And it's like, it's bright, it's solution oriented. And that is a pretty easy fix, right? It's thinking about what pictures are you highlighting? What's your the colors that you're using? Is it more of, because we were using grays and browns, but now it's like bright orange and yellow and blue. So that can be an easy fix, is just think, and that's visual comms kind of work that you can do fairly quickly. And in terms of power structures, I think one thinking about how you're doing the work and how are you setting folks up to succeed when you're gone. Essentially, how are you working yourself out of a job? And you might not ever get to that point, but to have that intention of always thinking about, if I fell off the planet tomorrow, could the folks that I'm working with, partnering with on the ground, could they continue this? And in what capacity could they do that? So thinking about working to build that capacity would be one, I think, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I think that's the most important thing. And then the other piece of it is also thinking about, the leadership, how you're including people, how you're thinking about participatory development. Are you including people on the ground? One of the things that we found in our work, and I'll talk a little bit more about this, we ended up digging deep into supply chain in terms of the stuff that's in the capital city, how does it get out last mile? And one of the things that we realized is that in the planning meetings, the folks that were in the last mile portion of delivery were never included in the planning meetings in the Capitol. And so when we were doing planning meetings, we paid for those folks from the remote areas to come and meet with, it was the head folks from the Ministry of Health and the national head of nutrition, all of these folks in the same room. So we had those perspectives together. So I think thinking about how are you working with people that are really the frontline workers in whatever scenario you happen to be in. So there are a lot of ways to think about that. And I know there are certainly some folks that have more radical views about it, that, there shouldn't be aid going over to Africa. We need to completely pull out. I think there's a balance to it, and there's a way to transition to being in that space. And, there are a lot of very macro factors, whether it's trade agreements, whether, it's multinational corporations, and there are a lot of big factors that I don't know how to solve personally, and I don't know how to extricate all of these pieces. And so I think that it's being aware and doing the best we can and acknowledging that there are certain power structures that we are a part of, that we have to acknowledge as we do the work and work to position that power locally as much as we can. All right, looking at the chat. Okay, so yeah, so jumping into my experiences, thank you, Frank, for running through all the things I've done. But I'll just talk a little bit about Every Child Fed and tell a quick story. So Every Child Fed, we co-founded a group of folks, and before we did, we did our due diligence and research, and I had worked in Africa on orphan issues for a while and lived in Zimbabwe. And is when I was back in the US working in hospital, had a really nice job. It just had the itch to get back to international work. So took a trip to Malawi to visit partners that were there on the ground. And they had this system that I really thought made a lot of sense. And the system is locally produce the therapeutic food that's used to treat severe acute malnutrition in that country. So typical aid is that the therapeutic food made in the US or made in France, shipped to Africa, and then distributed. And so, but the change is that locally producing it, you're creating markets for farmers, you're creating jobs for factory workers, you are minimizing the environmental footprint and the carbon footprint because you're not shipping it from France. There's some trucks that go through the country, but it's a minimal, relatively speaking, right? And so then it gets to a local clinic, and then in those clinics, mothers are able to come. Typically, it's either every week or every 2 weeks, depending on the clinic program. They get the supply of this therapeutic peanut butter paste. And they go home and they're able to essentially nurse their child back to health at home. And this was developed by a pediatrician who saw by the time a child got to any type of health facility, they were so far gone that the survival rate was less than 20. And the hospital care just wasn't at the quality that they needed for, to actually get better. A lot of times kids would come in and get other infections and die from other infections that they got at the hospital because their systems were so weak. So we found this model, and it wasn't my idea. I just thought it was brilliant. And how do we work to expand it? So went to the clinic in Malawi. Like I said, I had worked with orphans, so it wasn't, and I'd been to Africa, I don't know how many times, lived there. So it wasn't that I wasn't used to like really hard situations. Getting to the clinic, however, was very different for me. I went to check it out, but if I'm there, I'm going to help. Right. So watched to start, and basically it's super simple. Mothers bring their children. It's a couple of measurements. They measure the arm, they measure the height, they measure the weight, and there's a scale. If they hit in the right place on the scale, they're severely malnourished, and then they get this therapeutic food. They get it right there. They're good to go. I was so nervous to actually help in this space. Very comfortable holding babies, right? Like all of that's fine. The first child that a mother handed me, tiny, tiny little boy. He was 6 months old and 4 pounds is what I discovered when I weighed him. So one, holding him, I was so scared that I was going to break him, like just so tiny and fragile. And just like the flood of emotions was just like off the charts, right? So I was not prepared for this. And so one, feared that I might hurt this tiny little precious child who was already suffering. Never being that close to a child that was that sick and so close to death. Like, I don't even know what that emotion is, but it was real. And there was like compassion for the mother and sadness. But I will say the thing that really drives me is, I like to call it a righteous anger. And it was the injustice of it all. And it's just not fair. Like, why, I was born into the situation I was born into. Why is this kid born into this situation? And that is really, like, honestly, I'll be honest, that's what drives me. Some people are more compassionate and kind, but that's what drives me. And so in that moment, it was all of these different emotions. And then, so the really cool thing, and what I really love about this work, is that it's like a 20-minute kind of window where it goes from the measurement, doing all of this stuff. And then, okay, the child falls into the severe acute malnutrition category. And now we feed them. And so we do a test feeding, and the nurses sit with the mothers and they make sure they know how to feed them. And it's a like enriched peanut butter. It tastes really good. But it's like full of like fat and nutrients, and like we add all of the stuff into it. But so to see the child then start eating in that same like moment, again, there's no feeling like that I'm just like, from the pure devastation of this tiny child to, okay, they're all like immediately getting better. Like, I was done. I was like, we have to figure out how to do more of this, because like, it's a very real solution. And maybe I'm just like an instant gratification person, and then I needed to see that child getting better immediately. And that's what this does. And I tell a story, well, and I'll add one more thing. I was also a little bit afraid that I was going to get peed on, because when you weigh them, like, you take all the clothes off, the diapers, all of those things. And I did have to dodge it a few times. So like, again, it was just like a lot going on for me in those clinics. But I've thought a lot about the emotional piece of that experience. And I think something that, as I've thought about it, and as I talk to people, what my theory is that let me back up. My belief is that we're fundamentally all spirit, right? Like we are primarily spiritual beings in a physical body having, this experience that we have. But being spirit, we're all connected. And so whether that's, we're all children of God, or if it's, whatever your religious belief is, I believe that we're all connected. And as we participate in someone else's healing, we're healed. And as we participate in generosity towards someone else, we receive generosity. As we share love and as we share kindness, it comes back to us. And in those moments in the clinic, it's just a heightened experience of that. And so as Nia was talking about, volunteers going, please go. If you have not done a trip like this, like you have to go, because that experience, like I have never experienced anything like that, but I think it is that fundamentally we're connected, and as we serve, we are served. And so when you're able to go on a trip, it's a heightened, more intense experience of that. But I also think that, and to the point of, it's the collective, right? So for everyone that, if you give $5, if you buy a blood pressure cuff, if you support in any way, you are a part of that. And so I would encourage everyone to think about how being a part of this is really a part of like healing kind of the collective. And we're all a part of this and we're all benefiting from it. But I will say that sometimes it takes being intentional and mindful of that, right? So it's really easy to go online. Oh, my friend has a cause, I'm going to donate, like done, and you keep it moving. I would say to just take a minute to be mindful and intentional about connecting to the bigger purpose of this work and how you're impacting lives outside of your physical self, but then also that's very much connected to you. So I think I have a couple more minutes, and if it's okay, I would ask that, and we're a pretty small group, so can we take 5 minutes? And Nia, can we get in pairs? It might not be great on Facebook Live, sorry, Facebook Live people, but I would love to have people chat with each other and just share a quick, what is it about this work that either is aligned with your values, gets you excited, something that you want to be more intentional about in the way you connect to it. Or if you think that this whole idea is a bunch of like hooey, and you can chat about that too. But I would love to just have a moment where people can connect with each other and talk about what it is about this work. So can we do that for 5 minutes?
Absolutely. DJ Lovely, I'm going to let you stay in the main room, and everybody else is going to pop into a breakout room.
Perfect.
All right, great. All right, we're going 5 minutes. See you in a minute.
So Nia, I'll stay here. Is the person I'm supposed to be with, do they have someone else in that room?
I was going to have you go into a room and hold on, where are you?
I think I was room 7.
Oh, you're room 7. Okay, great. So I'm going to move you.
Just want to make sure no one's sitting there alone.
Well, no one's in that room yet, so we're good.
Okay.
And let me take my DJ Lovely.
You want me to play music?
Yes, please.
So I see 2 people left in here. Does everyone have a partner? I just know I've been in the spaces where I'm the only one. I always like to double check.
I'm going to move you right into this room, room 1. So you're in there with Frankie. All right.
So no one else is in 1, right?
No, Frankie is in 1.
Oh, I should go. Okay.
All right.
so sweet. All I gotta do is add a little lemon. My favorite drink. Hey, you make me think. Oh, honey, yeah. So sweet. Oh, yeah. So let me smell what it's gonna be. It don't be like it's usually. When it comes to the what to do, I don't fall for the what to do. Oh, God, can you tell me, please? Wanna know if you're feeling me. Oh, Slim boy, you feeling me? You so sweet to me. Oh, honey, yeah. You so sweet. Well, honey, Jack, I got a long way to get you. Oh, you so sweet. Honey, all I gotta do is add a little lemon. You my favorite drink. Hey, you make me bang. Oh, honey, yeah. Oh, you so sweet. You got that honey. You running from me. You really turn me on. You got that honey. Stop acting funny. You really turn me on. So tell me, Sam, what you trying to do? Hey, I'm trying to get me an interview. Look, while you're all over town, but you came in and run around. Like me, baby, find me. I need to know is you feeling me? Oh, you stick your pinky finger in my teeth. Cause you're so sweet to me. Oh, honey, oh, you're so sweet. So I'm got a long way to get you. You're so sweet. Hey, all I gotta do is add a little lemon. My favorite drink. Hey, ooh, it make me think. Honey, yeah, so sweet. You got that honey. You running from me. You really turn me on.
Turn it down.
Stop acting funny. You really turn me on, boy. You got that honey. You running from me. You really turn me on. You got that honey. Stop acting funny.
Who knew about the breakout room? And I mean, like, wow, that's cool.
Hey girl, it's a matter of fact. I think that you amazingly fit the fundamental parts of me. And girl, we should never look back. I only want the best for you, and I respect everything that you've been through. Sugar, that's the way it should be. I'll never try to change who you are.
All right, is everybody back? Thank you, DJ Maya. All right, so I hope y'all enjoyed that quick conversation and a few minutes to connect with each other. Feel free to put stuff in the chat that you said, that you heard. Again, making this interactive. But so I just want to leave y'all with one more quick story, if that's okay. I told you that I have 12 nieces and nephews. A few years ago, I took my oldest niece to Africa with me. And so now it's a thing that I have to do with all of them when they graduate high school is that they want to go on a trip, which is great. But so we went, and she went with me to the clinic. And I have to say, I was so impressed having, you know, my first experience in the clinic. And she didn't even have the background that I had, but she went in and she was helping doing the measurements and all of this stuff. And then, so we left, and that was, you know, a clinic outside of a compound, like essentially a slum. And so I was very intentional about showing her, you know, kind of all of the different sides of Africa and Zambia and South Africa. And so from there, we went by the hospital, which also very difficult place to be. She was, you know, just a champ through all of it. And then we went to the fancy cafe and had our quinoa salads, right? So we're sitting there having our salad. And, you know, so she's 18, grew up in the suburbs. This is all like very new. And I was saying how I thought she did a really good job in the clinic. And she kind of had this look of just like uncertainty in that moment. And she was like, yeah, but we only helped like 20 kids. Like, what about all the others? Like, it feels like it's not like hardly anything. Like, this is what, like, and it was kind of that like feeling defeated about like, there's so like, it's so big, and what we did, like, yeah, that's great, but like, does it ultimately matter? And so we had a conversation about this, and it came to essentially the point that, you know, I was like, what if you were the mother of one of those like 20 children? Like, would it matter then? And she's like, well, of course, because that's your child. I'm like, yeah. And, you know, it really, like, it's a drop in the bucket. And I told her, I was like, the thing is that if we all do our little drop, then the bucket gets filled. And I firmly believe that if everybody on the planet did their little bit, whatever that is, then everybody gets taken care of. And so even the tiniest drop, even one day, even 20 kids, when there are millions, it makes a difference and it matters. And so I think we ended that conversation feeling good about the work that we were able to do, knowing that there's so much more to do, but committed to doing our little part, because our little part matters. And so again, I'm so grateful for everybody that's here and everybody that's supporting, because whatever your part is, however small it might be, if you can go or if you can't, if you can donate like tons of money or you can't, every little bit matters when you bring it together. And again, thinking of that collective and the community, it really does matter. So again, thank you all for having me here and for indulging my little stories. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, and I'm excited about February. I was like, ooh, February, can I make that? So you might see me there. But yeah, so again, thank you. Congratulations for 5 years and all the work that you're doing. And yeah, I'm a supporter. I'm in the community. Call on me for anything. And it was wonderful to see all y'all's faces.
Hey, give it up for her real quick. Give it up again. Give it up for Rachel Watson. Give it up, 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 give it up. She is fantastic, phenomenal. I also had the privilege and the pleasure of being in the breakout room with her. So I got the one-on-one time, gleaned some great knowledge and information, which was really fruitful as well. So give it up for her one more time. Again, Black women doing amazing things. Black girl magic. I say it proudly. But yeah, what I want to do real quick, you know, so this here, I'm gonna throw my educator hat on real quick, right? What I want to do real quick is in the chat, what I would love for folks to do is just glean any lessons we got from Rachel's conversation that she just had with us. And I say conversation because she made it interactive, right? I want DJ My ear, heavy on the ear, to throw on a little track real quick. And I just would love for us to take a couple minutes, minute or two, just to kind of flood the chat. Well, what are some lessons you got, right? what were some lessons learned? What did we receive? You know, I'm gonna say one thing that I got, and I think I locked into this specifically. If we all do our a little drop, then everybody's bucket get filled. I love that. I love that. So yeah. DJ Maya, throw on a little track real quick. Let's throw a minute on the clock. Facebook folks, throw it in the comments. Throw it in the comments real quick. You know, what are a couple lessons you gleaned? 1, 2, however you feel led. Let your fingers hit the keyboards and let's go. Little something. DJ Maya, throw us on a little track real quick. And let's throw out some reflections real quick. Boom.
What you do? Where you at? Oh, you got plans. Don't say that. I'm sipping wine in a robe. I look too good to be alone. My house clean, my pool warm. Just shake smooth like a newborn. We should be dancing, romancing in the east wing and the west wing. This mansion is happening. I am playing no games. Every word that I say is coming straight from my heart. So if you try to lay these arms, I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door open, girl. I'ma leave the door open. Let you feel the way I feel, and you want me like I want you tonight, baby. Tell me that you're coming through. You're so sweet, so tight. I won't bite unless you like. If you smoke, I got the hate. And if you're hungry, girl, I got the late. Oh, baby, don't keep me waiting. There's so much love we could be making. I'm talking kissing, cuddling, rose petals in the bathtub. Girl, it's jumping, it's bubbling. I am playing no games. Every word that I say is coming straight from the heart. So if you're trying to lay these arms, I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door open, girl. I'ma leave the door open. Let you feel the way I feel, and you want me like I want you tonight. Tell me that you're coming through.
Okay, this is looking really good. All right, DJ Maya, let's bring it back. Okay, so let's what I would love to do is just throw down some of these lessons, right? That we got. All right, let's take it from the top. Let's take it from the top. Okay. Oh, y'all were busy. Y'all got busy. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, here we go. Okay. Trends in international outreach, avoiding poverty porn, address organizational infrastructure. Yup. Erica talked about, she got awesome discussion. Thanks. Okay, beautiful. Kyle said, love how she valued caring for others because that's the main ingredient to helping the less fortunate. 100% agree. We can all do our part. Work to connect to the causes you support. Yes. Erica said, making an effort to highlight the solution your organization offers versus the problem visually. Yep. Compassion, service, strategic, deliberate action. Heavy on the strategic and deliberate action. Poverty porn. Yes. Love, we are moving away from that. I agree. I definitely agree. Compassionate care, right? Loved how Rachel described the emotions that flood when in the field. Yes, because we do know it's real in the field and overwhelming. One of my favorites, include the community by giving the community members the same seat at the table that elected officials have. And I love that because I just think that oftentimes the folks that we're trying to help don't have a seat in their own rescue or a seat in their own advocacy. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's not even rescue, but help and assist. That's a better language I would use, right? So I love that. Erica said, defining your why in terms of why you are doing the work you're doing. Yep. Got to know the why, got to know the purpose. POE is purpose over everything, you know. And Rachel talked about purpose really being, it doesn't matter what you do, but it really is why you're doing it. What's the intention? I love that. Value-based leadership, where our values of inclusivity and community are evident in and out of organizational structures and processes. Love that. Love that. Yep. I think leading by values is a virtue and it's so important. I just want to comment. I love the fact that this was interactive. You know, I know we in the pandemic, you know, especially we're still in it, but in the height of it, you know, we've just been on virtual calls and everything. So yeah, that's dope as well. All right. And boom, we have gotten to the end of these. These are all we have. So thank you all for your interactivity and things of that nature. And now we're going to transition forward further again. And this time, what I would like to do is we have a video presentation that's going to be going on. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Miss Lisa Toomer.
He just must have popped off. So
Oh.
while we wait for her to come back on, I did want to thank Rachel Watson for an amazing time presenting her expertise, her experiences. I specifically want to thank her for the suggestions and for even taking the time to give us feedback on what we were currently doing, our website. And so I am beyond ecstatic about what happened today and the interaction. I do want to go ahead and give a quick plug about Ghana 2022. We are going February 18th to March 1st. And all those that are interested, please email us at info@kasudi.org, or you can check our website and leave a note via the website as well. You can follow us at Kasudi International on Facebook, on Instagram, and we do have a Twitter account, which is Kasudi_INT. Or I think it's actually fully Kasudi_International. So I do hope we can connect soon. Rachel, thank you again. And hopefully if Lisa is back on, we'll go ahead and share that. Actually, before she could, Frank, would you please share your contact information and what you're doing? And then DJ Lovely, I would love people to be able to get in contact with you as well. So if you can share your contacts and specifically Frank, what you've been up to, and throw your information in the chat so that people can find you.
Most definitely. Thank you for that. So yeah, I'll show my information in the chat, social media handles, website, and things of that nature. But specifically the work that I've been up to and what I do a little bit of everything. Jack of all trades, master of some. But in this season of my life, I am heavy in the consulting space. I work with companies, organizations, educational institutions on improving understanding and a skill set of emotional intelligence. And really that's just how you engage with people on an emotional level for decisions, for productivity as well. I'm also working in the school system, training teachers and providing students with the skill sets of social emotional learning. And it really just comes down to how we teach our young people to manage, interact with their emotions in a healthy way, right? Outside of that, I do some healthcare advocacy. I advocate for I'm a spokesperson for the Cornell Scott Hill Health Center, advocating for healthy living, advocating for health equity as well. So that's also dope. And I'm also a poet and an artist at the same time, youth development consultant. So when I say jack of all trades, master of some, that's literally what I mean. I've been doing this work for a long time in these areas. And you can get in contact with me on www.frankebrady.com. I also host events as well. And frankiebrady.com or Instagram at Frank, the letter E, and Brady. So I'll throw that all in the chat. And then DJ Lovely, it's on you. Please let the folks know how they can connect with you.
Hi, everybody. I am DJ Lovely, AKA Maya Rosser. I had the pleasure of going to Vanderbilt with Nia, and that's how I got connected with her over these years. And so I would love to give a nice shout out to all my Commodores on this call. I'm seeing a lot of Vanderbilt folks, which is a beautiful thing to think about the work we did many years ago as undergrads and how we've all evolved now. It's just really beautiful to see. So I'm really excited. Rachel, you gave an amazing conversation with us. I'm really excited. Look out for my email. I'll be hitting you up. So I am DJ Lovely. If you need to reach out, you ever need some music for events, landscaping, want to plan events, talk music, arts, culture, the intersection of social advocacy and arts and change, hit me up, AKA DJ Lovely at gmail.com. On Instagram, AKA DJ Lovely as well. So AKA DJ Lovely on Gmail and IG. I'm not really active on Twitter, but it's AKA DJ Lovely on Twitter too. In addition to DJing, I do a lot of work around maternity care. I'm a doula, social worker. So right now I'm working with the city of Philadelphia, doing doula support for mothers who have engaged with some type of opioid abuse or had some type of opioid addiction at some point. So I'm doing a lot of work around just maternity support, postpartum mental health, hypnobirthing. So anybody want to talk maternity care, doula stuff, birthing, hit me up as well. And if you just want to talk in general, anything, hit me up as well as too. So I'll put my information in the chat and I'll put my phone number as well. Calling me is always easy. Thank you, Nia, for having me.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you, Frank. I did also want to have Rachel share a little bit about what you're up to in terms of how we can get in touch with you. And also if you want to throw anything in the chat so that people can reach out to you.
So currently I spend a good amount of time consulting with different companies, a lot of nonprofits. A lot of the work is in the diversity, equity, and inclusion, anti-colonialism space, as well as the social impact space. So that's where I spend a good amount of my time these days. Also, Every Child Fed, of course. So I'll put my LinkedIn is probably an easy way. I'll put my LinkedIn, and then I have like 40 different email addresses for all the different stuff that I do. But I'll also put my phone number because I'm happy to like shoot me a text, and I'm not really active on social media. But I can put that in there as well. I do have accounts, although you won't see me posting much. I will say that I am planning a fundraising campaign to climb Kilimanjaro in December. So I'm planning to be more active on social media as a part of that campaign. And I want y'all to give to Kasudi, but it might be entertaining as I am trying to prepare for Kilimanjaro. So I'm going to start posting more and it might be entertaining, but that's the only reason that I share that. But I would also encourage everyone, like I put it in the chat, like if you have the opportunity to go to Ghana, I highly, highly encourage everyone to go. If you have not been to Africa, you need to get there, this trip or another. So yeah, I'll put my info in the chat as well.
I see a hand raised. Erica, did you want to ask a question?
Sorry about that. That was a mistake, but I can't ask a question though. Let me get my camera. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm checking out of a hotel. Thank you, Rachel. This was an awesome discussion. I really appreciate it. And so happy to see you on here. One question that I actually was thinking about earlier was I'm an early startup, but for profit. And I get a lot of questions about social impact. And obviously that's something that you do in the nonprofit sector, but thinking about how someone in my position very early on can partner with nonprofits like yourself, what are those channels? What does that look like if I'm someone who wants to partner with a social impact nonprofit? Also, how do I incorporate social impact into a for-profit organization that's very early? Thank you.
So we could talk for hours on this. So maybe we need to reconnect. But I will say a couple quick things. One, and I have worked with a lot of for-profits that are trying to, so the time at Burson Cohen Wolf, I was a social impact specialist, and I worked with tech startups to like Moet and Hennessy, right? Who are trying to do social impact projects. So one thing that I always recommend is thinking about values and alignment and synergies. And so what are those areas? What are those points of connection between the work that you do and potentially supporting a nonprofit? And sometimes people will have different passion projects or different motives to say, okay, we want to support this one just because we like it. From a strategic business perspective, you want to be thinking about how am I not just having a positive impact in the world, but how is that supporting my business and my bottom line and my marketing and all of those different things. So there's a lot of different avenues and different ways to think about it. Companies are doing it from philanthropic, marketing, values, a whole lot of different perspectives on that. And then as well, when you're thinking of building those values in, there's a lot of ways that you can think about weaving things together as well. So I would say let's have a longer conversation about it, because there's a lot that you could do, and I think it's unique to each organization as to the best approach. There's not a one thing fits everyone scenario.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for breaking that down. Glad we were able to share this. Let us get ready. So I believe we have our dope video queued up. Lisa Tuma is ready. So without further ado, please watch the following video. There we go.
I don't want to lose you this time. I want it. No time, I'm gonna winnie wanna your love.
Just gonna replay it one more time to make it a full screen for everybody can see clearly. Just give me a moment. Me, I need your help. Can you tell me how to make it a larger screen for everybody to view?
It's fine. Just go back. We can just watch it the way you had it.
All right.
They do me one time. Oh my, I'm gonna get to me. Show me how you feeling this night. Almost say your love, say now winnie winnie when I wanna your love. They do me this night, yeah. I need your grace, me never relent, my love no get shame, no matter the case, for my music keep the bass, my sweet sweet bass, so my love no get shame, for you are there, every night, every day, every day, me don't need my baby to call on me, close to me, yeah, yeah. By the time when you dey wake up in the morning, man, I dey buy you side for me, make you fall for me. Oh yeah, joro, 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 ja, joro, 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 ja, joro, whoa, whoa. You won't keep it. Mugu, mugu. Yeah. This kind of love, it dey do my body tanana. It dey make me one day your life for hanana. Do it, do it. This kind of love, say it dey do my body tanana. It dey make me one day around you banana. Dance to my conto make you banana. Oh la, choro, 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 chara, choro. Never leave me when I need you by my side. I'm all I just suckle when you can, oh, then you can. I'm all I just suckle. Me, I go love you all day, love you all night, all the time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Choro, 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 yeah, choro, ja, choro, 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 ja, choro, yeah, choro, choro, ja, choro, yeah, yeah. Deep down, baby girl, I know you wanna deep ride on it. Every night she says she just want to climb on it. See her skin spoon with they put design on it. Wow, wine. Baby girl, I know you wanna deep ride on it. Every night she says she just want to climb.
Thank you, Nia. I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. That video was really dope, and it definitely highlighted the work that's been happening. So again, shout out to Kasudi for doing the good work, and providing the great energy for real, for definite. I think getting to watch that video and just to key in on the different scenes and different pictures, it hits different when the work is from a genuine place, but you actually documenting the genuine work, right? And I'm a big fan. One of my favorite phrases that I always say is documentation matters, right? Because it tells the story of the work in real time, and I think what I loved about the compilation of images, again, it showed the people thriving. It showed them smiling. You know what I'm saying? It didn't show them decrepit. It didn't show them broken. No, it didn't show them broken. It showed them beautiful. And I think that's a testament to the work that this organization does. That I think is really fantastic. It was the smiles for me, and I think the smiles. The smiles are evidence of just like great work, fantastic work. So again, as you're watching this, for all our folks on Facebook as well, if you want on the Zoom link, please make sure you donate and support this work. Get on board with this work. It's about rehabbing, restoring, and replicating. And I think that's really what has caught me again and again. Shout out to the board of directors and Dr. Mensah, and all the supporters of Kasudi International. This is the 5th annual, right? And also, we're looking forward to the 6th annual as well, right? We're probably going to be in person. It's going to be a vibe. It's going to be energy. There'll be, DJ Love will be on the 1s and 2s. But despite that, let me also kick it over to Dr. Mensah for a quick second. Dr. Mensah, what are your thoughts? How's it? What are your thoughts for
I
today?
just wanted to say thank you again to everybody that was on the call, all the participants, and we're just gonna vibe out for the next few minutes. You're welcome to stay, listen to music, go enjoy the rest of your day. But again, thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Maya. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you to every contributor from the board of directors and every participant and every supporter of Kasudi International. Let me give a shout out to all my people on the call and those that are watching us on Facebook Live. Have a great Saturday, great week. I turn it over to our MC and our DJ. Take it away.
All right. So, you know, the tie was a little more tighter before I loosened the tie a little bit real quick, right? This is time when we vibe out. This is a brunch as well. So bring out your glasses. Oh, good. Tiffany had a great question. Before we transition into the vibe, Dr. Nia, how do we give? Tiffany had a great question. What's the directions for giving?
Thank you for asking. You can go to our website, www.kasudi.org, click the donation button. It'll direct you to our PayPal page. That is the quickest way to give. You can still give via the Eventbrite link for today. And specifically, everything we raise is going to the order and fulfillment of requests from the Tima Polyclinic. Specifically, they have asked for suction machines, blood pressure machines. There is a long list that I shared in the Eventbrite. But we're going to buy all of these medical supplies and donate them to the facility. So hopefully you can help us achieve our goal, purchasing the equipment that was in need from that facility and also from a birth clinic that is outside of Cape Coast, where women from the local areas are giving birth, but they're in dire need of prenatal vitamins and some simple things that we can provide. So hopefully you guys can help us fulfill the need. Thank you.
All right. Give it up. And can we come off mute real quick? I want to do this. Come off of mute real quick. Come off of mute. Everybody come off of mute. Come off of mute. I give you 5 seconds to come off of mute real quick. I need your energy because we're going to transition this right? So yeah, everybody come off of mute. Come off of mute. Yes, I love it. Come on, beautiful melanin. Come on, black faces. Come on, vibes. Let's go. And clap it up for Dr. Mensah real quick. And the board of directors, clap it up.
Yeah, Dr. Mensah.
Yes.
Shout out from Miami.
Hey. All right. So this part's cute. We're gonna have a little fun and everything like that. DJ Lovely. Let's make something happen. Come on, let's celebrate. Let's vibe out.
Check this out.
Come on.
Check this out. Check this out.
Hey. We see you, DJ. Hey.